My favorite part about my job is working with people and making an impact in their quality of life. My name is Mickey Derting. I'm a strategic initiatives manager out of the city manager's office at the city of Bend. The city of Bend and Deschutes County convened an emergency homelessness task force. And basically this task force, you have housing and houselessness experts and stakeholders at the table. And the outcome is to come up with a strategic plan to prevent and end houselessness in Deschutes County. The emergency homelessness task force members brought up a need for a visual narrative for something easy and simple to understand. We're not creative agencies, we're not media folks, we're not content creators, we're government agency working on government core functions like public safety, public works. So we needed somebody to help us create this vision and execute on it. I found Zoe Agency because they're already working for us, but because we're a government agency, we still needed to make sure that we put out a RFP and make sure that we were fairly looking at all the candidates for this project. When they came up with an idea that nobody else came up with for the visual narrative from the first meeting, and I knew they were quite creative and modern in their approach, ideas that I didn't even think about, which is what we needed. And I also reviewed their portfolio. So it was, it seemed really powerful and creative. It was great with communicating information. And then the fact that they offered a team behind the project was very impressive. And it made me feel at ease that there's going to be more than one person who's going to be working on it. We wanted to humanize our houseless community members and tell their stories, and that we wanted to educate and increase awareness, give all a holistic perspective and unbiased knowledge of the houselessness ecosystem in our region, with the intention that we all come from the same data points, understanding and knowledge. Plus, we wanted to make sure that people were also aware about the solutions that our service providers were offering to address this houselessness crisis in our region, inform of our strategic plan. And also we wanted to provide info about cities and county joint houselessness office, which they were able to accomplish with this product that they produced. So Zoe did a great job of realizing the intended goals and outcome, and we received nothing but rave reviews. And including one of the houseless community members we interviewed seemed to experience being heard and seen. I believe that if she felt that way, other folks experiencing houselessness felt similar. First of all, they came up with ideas. They already had vision and ideas from the get-go. And then when we hired them, they hit the ground running. They were really flexible with our unpredictable timeline. That was actually one of the things that, even though we were thinking, oh yes, they really rose above everybody else in terms of other candidates to win this project. But I was concerned about the timeline, and they were flexible and they worked with our timeline. They made it easy for me to work with them. I really felt like I was in good hands. I didn't have to worry. I was able to focus on my other projects while they were working behind the scenes to produce this. Like, I just gave them instructions and they went off running with it. And I believe that they would have come up with a product that was above and beyond what I can imagine is one of the other reasons. And they're also quite unique in that I felt that as if my project was a top priority for them. I'm sure they were busy, but I felt like I was the only customer. So that was a huge thing. And they also rallied when a problem arose that could have negatively impacted this project, and also negatively impacted the people who worked so hard to bring this together, help produce the content. And also it would have negatively impacted the houseless population we were serving. So they really stepped up. And I felt like they didn't necessarily have to, but they did. They were very thorough, and I felt like I had a team that had my back. And then the people who were serving the houseless community members, the social service providers, were happy with it because they were the content providers. The audience were able to then review it and see that, have a different perception at the end of the review of this visual narrative. And so that was really very satisfying to feel like we accomplished our goal. They have a great team. Zoe Agency has a great team. They have great leaders. They have great team members. They're not your typical organization where they just seemed a little bit more intimate and connected with their customers. Definitely, I felt like I was part of their team. They were part of my team. They could handle any client and projects that are brought to them.